start with judgment. Either judgment of ourselves or judgment of the other. So I want to make it really clear, judgment is not bad. Judgment's not wrong. Most of us are judging all day long. And when we first see each other, like today when we all met each other, probably the first things we did was judge. It might be pleasant judgments. Oh, I'm glad to see this person's here. But usually when we're first meeting, we just start with the judgments. Because we're so used to categorizing, we're so used to judging. He's tall, she's short, he's older, she's younger, whatever it might be, right? But then what we want to do is drop into the deeper connection. So first step is owning our judgment. Owning when we are in judgment. Owning when we are in make wrong or blame or shame. Shame, we run all the time. Anytime you use the word should, it's a shaming word. I should have done this, I should have done that, you should have done this, you should have done that. Those are shaming words. So notice when you're shaming. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the alternatives. The first one, resistance, and the alternative is willingness. And usually we resist a new practice, we resist some of the tools that I'm offering because we don't feel safe. I can't do it, it's going to be too hard, I'm not going to succeed. Usually our resistance is connected to a lack of safety. Willingness, what we always want to do is if you ask somebody to do something and they're resisting it, the magic words, the magic question to ask is, Greg, what would you need to be willing to leave the house a little bit earlier? Michael, what would you need to be willing to drive me to the airport? Or whatever it is we're asking somebody. It's a good question to ask, and genuinely ask it. What would you need to be willing to do what it is I'm asking you to do? Because you see, we don't want to make demands. We want to make requests. Demand has a funky energy to it. We don't respond well to demands. We want to make requests. How do we know it's a request? We really want to make sure that person is willing to do it. And here's a simple little test of whether or not what you're asking is a request or a demand. Before you ask Michael or before you ask Greg or whoever it is, ask yourself, am I willing to hear no? Am I willing to hear no? And if the answer is that you're not willing to hear no, then you're carrying the energy of demand. So if I want Angie to take me to the airport, I ask myself, am I willing for Angie to say no? Oh God, I'm not willing for her to do it. I'm really attached to her being the one who drives me to the airport. Then I need to do some homework. I need to reorient my attachment to the outcome. I need to reorient my attachment to the outcome. Because if I'm attached to the outcome being a certain way, I'm coming at it with the energy of demand. With the energy of demand, there's going to be resistance. With the energy field of openness, there's more likely to be a willingness, or to find what you need to be willing. Is that clear to everybody? Yeah? The next one is how to go from make wrong to curiosity. I love the word curiosity. And often in relationships, the relationships that are long-term, that are happy and healthy, people are still really curious about each other. There's a constant childlike curiosity. Wow, why did you do that? And what's going on with you? And hey, tell me about your day. And I really want to understand what's going on here. But in unhealthy long-term, bless you, in unhealthy relationships, especially long-term ones, oh, she's just being that way. Oh yeah, that's Bud. That's the way Bud. Oh, Greg. Greg's always the same way. We lose our curiosity. We pigeonhole. We typecast. We judge, and that feels awful. It feels awful. Most popular movie of all time, or at least in our culture, Avatar. What's the message in Avatar? Exactly. I see you. We all want to be seen clearly. And if I've already judged, oh, Greg's never going to change, that's the way he is, and I'm not curious about what's going on with Greg, we're going to disconnect. It's going to feel really awful. But if I can notice, oh, I'm falling into make wrong. I'm making Bud wrong for wearing a blue shirt. Oh, why'd you wear that blue shirt? I'm curious. Notice the difference in the energy field? Now, obviously, I'm choosing something silly about a blue shirt. But it can be even about politics, anything. I can either judge it or make it wrong, which shows up in my languaging and my energy field, or I can be genuinely curious as to why somebody thinks that, and I don't know what the politics are in this room, so I won't do an example. But, usually we have pretty adamantly different beliefs when it comes to politics or religion or belief systems. We can either be curious, I'll make up something silly, why do you believe that you're worshiping a bottle of ketchup, or I can make that person wrong. Does it make sense to everybody? The next one is a pretty big one. From judgment to compassion. And I actually already told you the simple version of that. We can only judge from the mind. We can only care from the heart. People always ask me, what's compassion? For me, compassion is when we choose to care despite our differences. When we choose to care despite differences. In that story that I told about the Afghan warlords, the magical moment was warlord number 2 went from judgment, you're my enemy, to care. Oh my God, you want the same thing for your tribe as I want for mine. That's what shifted him from the judgment of you're my enemy, you're bad, you're evil, to care. So what we always want to ask ourselves is, if we're judging ourselves, and by the way, most of you in this room probably judge yourselves far more than you judge other people. That's usually the case. So if you're judging yourself, or you're judging another person, what do you need to shift from your head to your heart? What do you need to go from judging that person to really caring about that person? And that is what every great teacher has taught. Jesus, the Buddha of compassion, the Buddha is the Buddha of compassion. Rumi, the great poet, Martin Luther King, Gandhi, Mother Teresa, they all taught compassion. Because ultimately that's what we all need in this world, is more care, more compassion. Yes, ma'am? Story of the... I don't know the answer to that question. I don't know that part of the history. When did it start? I don't know. I wish I did. Right, yeah, I mean, it's true. It becomes just this generational thing.
What I'd like to offer you is that in war, after a point, the original reason does not matter. Because if you're fighting that war, you're not fighting it for the politicians, people back home, all those ideals that they chant and bring about on TV, bandstands, whatever, those don't matter. The man to your left or your right is why you fight. Nothing, and I mean nothing else matters. Can we get home?
Mm-hmm.
If you watched that movie about the SEALs here recently, it told you why the fight is done. Because no other reason matters.
Mm. Wow. How blessed we are that we're living in a time when not all of us have to go to war. And for those that did, yeah, thank you very much. So, just keep asking yourself, what do I need to do in order to drop from judging myself or judging others to really caring and having compassion? Who here gets guilty? Who feels guilty? Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations. You're not a psychopath. And here's an interesting thing to remember. Guilt is a judgment. You're judging yourself. As long as you stay in the judgment of guilt, you're probably going to feel pretty crappy. What's really happening, if you go deeper into what we've been practicing, You're feeling disappointed or angry or frustrated with yourself because you didn't match your own value for care. You didn't match your own value for kindness. Let's say I say something snotty to Bud, and I'm thinking about it tonight. Michael brings up and goes, Scott, when you made that comment to Bud, it really hurt him. It really bothered me, the teacher, and when you said that, it was really hurtful to him. So now I'm thinking about, oh my God, that's true. I really shouldn't have said that. Now, if I'm just saying guilty, bad Scott, bad teacher, I'm not even going to get the point. What I want to do is drop into, I'm feeling disappointed in myself because I didn't match my own value for kindness or for consideration or for care. So when you're feeling guilty, do the challenging situation worksheet. What are you feeling? You're not feeling guilty. Guilty is not a feeling. Guilty is a judgment. I'm telling myself I'm guilty. You're feeling disappointed or frustrated or angry or agitated with yourself. Which of your needs, which of your values did you not meet? Oh, I didn't meet my own value for care and consideration. And then reflect on how important care and consideration is to you. And that's your best chance of being more considerate next time.